but all over the US and all over the world, that what we do is actually rezoning. It's very rare situations where you have like a new green field where you can spring on with a new city. Nothing like that happens anymore. So we would like to first, did you get the report, or would you like to okay, there are two ways of doing this: either to go through the report from our side, but I would, and the second way is actually to ask you to please tell us what are your comments, what do you think, what do you see, and then I will ask, because all of our students actually participated, and they are not students actually, they are kind of professionals, all of them, and we're honored to have Dr. Presley with us also. And we will have like, you are having the floor to tell us what do you think about the report. And if you would like to share it with us, share it so that we can see where your comments might be. I'm making you a co-host now, so if you would like to present something, we are here. If you don't, I mean, if you want us to present that, we can have, I can do it myself, or ask Antoine, since he did the editing for us, to actually present that. So the floor is yours.
I have actually only just scanned the report, and thank you so very much for providing it to me, and for deciding to take this project on for me. And I'm really excited to hear what you have to present to me. And I'm making notes, and I think this is going to be a very valuable tool for me to carry back to the Andalusia City Council. And I can make some recommendations now, and I have the documentation to back up my recommendations. I'm very happy about that.
Very good. Thank you very much. Then we can actually start. Let me maybe share the screen and have this report done. I mean, in front of everybody. But I have to tell you that what we were after is actually understand what's the problem, because we have taken like 2 weeks trying to understand what was the problem with that we should be working with. And I believe, Antoine, do you have the report in your machine that you can present to us?
Yes, sir. I can pull it
that
up.
You can share?
I can pull it up. Yes, sir.
Okay, let me make you as a host here. You are a co-host already? No?
Under the share screen, you have to allow me to share. It says host disabled participants, screen sharing.
Let me try to do this here. Okay, now you are a co-host. So, Mr. Next, what we did was actually, as I said, we kind of took 2 meetings to discuss, so what is the problem? Why, you mentioned 2 things. One of them was that Andalusia is losing population. And the second one is that the youth population is the most that is actually vanishing from the, would you please go ahead a little bit, Antoine? Like go for the, maybe the appendix, the index, I'm sorry. Like a couple of pages down. Yeah. Okay, one more. Yes. So we started by that. And as we can see in the introduction and things about that, was it really like a loss of population, or this is kind of a fluctuation? And what is the difference? We don't think that the city is really losing a lot of population, but it is fluctuating because over 10 years, if you kind of lose 1,000 people, which is 10,000 of the population, and you're having all of these youth population, maybe the issue is not really losing population, but people have to move out if they want to get better education. We have discussed this, and we have also discussed whether having a college education or university education would kind of remedy this issue or not. And we also discussed what kind of employment you're having in Andalusia. And if it is mostly like blue collar, would that have an impact on the kind of population you're having? Because if you're not having the youth into this kind of labor, maybe in the future, this loss of population will be permanent. Up till now, we are not sure that it is kind of a permanent loss of population. It's kind of a fluctuation. That's our discussion, but actually we are open for whatever we will discuss with you. And then we went into, okay, what are the data that we have? How would we, yes, go ahead, please, Antoine, down. And what kind of data, go ahead, please. What kind of data that we have that might support our whatever interventions we need to do. So these are kind of what we thought will be the basis of what we do here. The City of Andalusia is kind of a stable, small town with most of the population having education that's almost like high school or a little bit higher, but not really many of the population are having more than higher education and like masters and whatever degrees you have on top of that. No, go back, please, Antoine. Yeah, so actually also it's kind of a balanced kind of population in terms of age, of gender. There are no abnormalities that we have noticed, nothing, but we have noticed that the median income, household income, is actually low. It's like the lowest in the whole of Alabama, the state of Alabama, or actually below the average. That's a better way of saying it. It's below average of what is the income in the state of Alabama. Employed population, the numbers are good. 40.4% is kind of, the number is 3,421 out of the 9,000 that you currently have. So actually it's even like closer to being 35% or 36%, something like that. It's not bad. It's kind of within the average in the whole of the United States, and maybe in Alabama, it's not really low. I don't really go with the numbers about poverty, because poverty should be measured locally. If you are having good access to food and to transportation, but having a lower wage or lower income, that is not really counted as poverty, but this is the whole situation in the locality. Median property value is kind of attractive for anybody wanting to relocate or locate to Andalusia. Next page, please. And then we went into race and ethnicity and things, but I would actually invite, I don't know how to go in sequence, but let me start with who would like to start? Because all of you will be presenting, starting maybe with Antoine, with Evan, Ivan, Zainab, Caroline. All of you will be presenting. So I don't know, how would you like to start? Antoine?
Oh, Jiminy Cricket.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
If you would like to.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I couldn't find my mic, so I was like, I don't know if you can hear me or not. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, I hear.
Fine. That's fine. Yeah.
About Jimmy the Cricket.
Because I'm afraid. No.
Okay, go ahead.
So one of the things that we really looked at in terms of Andalusia was inclusion. We noticed that there was a lot of there wasn't a lot of minorities within the public office, even though they make up a decent portion of the population. And so looking at the race and ethnicity, it's almost like we thought about, that kid on the playground who nobody wanted to play with. And so because nobody wanted to play with him, he just kind of gave up. And so it's like, if they're not involved, if we as a community is not involved wholeheartedly, you know, how do you get the participation? A lot of times when you participate in something, a lot of times when you're building something, you tend to take pride in it. You know, I paid someone to cut my grass, and my wife asked me, she said, hey, you know, do you have a loss of pride? I said, no, because, you know, it saved me 2 hours. So, but somebody who maybe, you know, it wouldn't have taken 2 hours, they probably would have enjoyed and had the pride of actually cutting their own grass, because again, it's just a matter of them, you know, having participation. Getting into the heritage of Andalusia, we realize that most people are, of course, are American, and just comparing it to other counties around, and the state of Alabama, and also the United States as a whole, it fits right in. We already mentioned the median household income. This slide is just comparing Andalusia to the county as a whole, and other counties that are similar in economic size. We looked at the major employers of the county itself and wanted to really get an idea of who was there and who we could possibly partner with. And as you mentioned, and as we also saw in our research, that Shaw Industry is hands down, you know, the biggest employer there, and Power South is a shy second. We also looked at the employment occupations. Where are people making money? What, you know, how are they employed? We talked a little bit about this, and we were looking at this in terms of where the gaps, where can we have an intervention where we can say, okay, if the city invested more in this area, this is an opportunity, excuse me, to grow that particular industry or that particular sector. And we'll come back to what we came up with in terms of some potential interventions that we thought could actually help the city as a whole. We also looked at the health of the inhabitants of Andalusia. We looked at the average age being 40. So, you know, when you're 25, you know, you can run a mile in 5 minutes. When you're 40, those numbers tend to go up a little bit. So, you know, we really wanted to look at, okay, what do we have to work with? Because we can talk about having wealth all day, but if you don't have the health, then, you know, the wealth doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? So your health in terms of that is indeed your wealth. So this, you know, we came up with kind of our approach to planning. And, you know, at the end of the day, it really was about finding balance between making smart decisions and making database decisions as well. Mm-hmm. And a lot of what we saw, we really wanted to base it on data, so that when you did go back to the council, that you
and actually, I mean, sorry, is it Mr. Nix? Would you like to comment?
Oh, no. I'm making notes, and I'm following right along.
Very good. Okay, so actually, I mean, allow me, Antoine, for this, there are two things that we needed to think about. And now everybody in the class will actually present what his intervention that he thought about. But actually, the two things. First is, we might be solving problems. That might be a good approach if you want to stabilize the population, because sometimes when you have issues like in transportation, education, entertainment, whatever you have, it might be an issue with stabilizing the population, but then it's not actually good enough to assure you a good growing urban area. So actually, we also thought about the SWAT analysis, which is mainly between strengths and opportunities on one side, and weaknesses and threats on the other side. And I actually cited this model in urban economics that he used to teach us. And I'm sure that Mr. Nix would have heard about this when he was studying the T-Boot model of 1956, where he said, Charles Thibault actually said that people vote with their feet. So actually, if you don't like it in this area, you just pack up and move to another area where you can have the kind of amenities and services that suit your tax bracket and suit your income and your family profile and things. So actually, we thought about these two things. Would you please go to the next page? So actually, it's kind of the first part is solving issues. First part is solving issues. Second part is thinking about what are the opportunities and strengths. And then would be kind of the last approach will be to think regionally, like how would we place Andalusia within its context. So actually three main issues. One is solve the problems. Two is think about opportunities and strengths and see for the future so that you can attract more people or the youth population or whoever you are attracting. And then the last part is think regionally, where you can bring Andalusia within its context to something that you would like to see in the future, whether that will be like for heritage, will be based on having like being a logistic hub or providing social or economic service, whatever you think will be. And then we moved into proposing interventions. And I would like to start with first thing, I mean, this is creating a target. It's like we have to know what is the target. Is the target to grow the population, or the target is to improve the employment opportunities, bring more jobs, bring more people, attract the youth? These are all eligible objectives that we can use, but actually we need to create a target, and that target should be very clear. I would leave the second one, which is the planning thing in attracting more factory. I think this was the proposal of Caroline. Caroline, are you here? I think Caroline is here, right?
Doc, I think the night that she had an event.
Oh, okay. Caroline actually she works for this non-for-profit organization that's under the umbrella of the state of Alabama, where she actually seek to locate or to find new homes for industrial expansions and new factories and new industries, and maybe she will be able to explain this more. But this effort already exists in the city of Alabama, and I believe the city of Andalusia can get this kind of state assistance, or sometimes maybe federal assistance in attracting the kind of jobs. And you already have like the skill base for people who can do this. I think Ivan, is it Ivan or Evan who was talking about that this actually a loss of population is not really a real loss, but a fluctuation. Would you like to expand on that, Evan or Ivan?
That was Evan.
Evan, okay. Go ahead.
Well, really, I really don't know how I can expand too much more on it.
Just go ahead and explain it.
All right. Well, I need to. Well, I believe it was like the 80s. It started to decrease again, and from there, I believe there was a little increase in the population, and in the 1990s and until now, it's kind of been steady, like just losing like 100 citizens every year. So it's not really too much, but at the same time, I don't believe that that could be a real population problem.
Mm-hmm.
As far
so
as
what was your proposal for intervention?
Oh, well, so my proposal was to just invest in the community.
Would you please go ahead and go to the next page, Antoine? Because I think we need to invest in education.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we wrote actually for building education.
Right. Attract good university branches or prestigious colleges to Covington County to attract back the youth, as current maps show only two-year colleges within the reach of the city. The youth who seek higher education after high school, after their high school certificate, do not have many options in the county and seek education outside the city. So one way is to seek universities with specializations in textile industries, agribusinesses, biotech industries, and construction industries, as they already exist in the county. And we had a link for the map so we could actually show that. And but yeah, education would definitely help attract more youth to the city because they would bring good paying jobs and that nature.
Thank you very much. Actually, provide housing and tax. I don't remember who was proposing this, but who would like to come and explain it? Zainab? Are you still with us, Zainab?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Okay.
So,
would you like to expand on this? Yes.
So I mentioned tax incentives, and I mentioned some forms of tax incentives that could be given to investors. So I talked about tax holiday. I talked about tax waiver. So if investors are willing to come into the city of Andalusia to maybe erect companies or create manufacturing companies to help increase the number of youths in there, there would be a higher amount of investors willing to come in if they would have tax incentives.
What kind of tax incentives are you proposing?
Or it could be a form of tax relief, a reduction of the amount of tax they would pay to the government. Maybe like in a year, a waiver of 1 month, or a reduction of the tax they're supposed to pay. So for example, they're supposed to pay a tax of 100%. How about we help them waive 10% of the amount of tax they're supposed to pay per annum? This way, there's a reduced amount of tax for the investors to pay, and a way of making them come into the city of Andalusia to invest, thereby increasing the number of youths and job opportunities in the city of Andalusia.
All right. Dr. Presley, would you like to comment on that tax thing? I know that it looks in your eyes. You have to unmute.
Yes, I guess you could see my eyes going.
Yes.
Great idea. Let's talk about the tax incentives first, and then I'll go back to the educational things. What you might want to add to your report is 2 programs, or a summary about 2 programs. One is the Small Business Administration, SBA, New Markets Assistance Program. Okay. I know it's been very active here in North Alabama. And also it focuses a lot on small businesses, which when we use that word small business, that's not micro business, okay? So small business is about 100 employees, 500 employees. Those are considered small businesses, believe it or not. And these are, it's a lending program.
That's a very big size.
Yes. So that you'll find that on the federal site. So that should be sba.gov, or it's the Small Business Administration. The second thing is I did my taxes this week. The question of Alabama tax credits for economic development. See if those were reauthorized. Okay. So that's State of Alabama tax credits for economic development. I would put a paragraph of those in. So I think tax credits is a great idea. Find out what's happening in terms of these 2 programs in the county, and then focus them in to say what Andalusia could do to apply. On education, I like the idea you have here about linking the community college and businesses together. That's a great idea. But what I would encourage you to think about is linking a third partner in that, and that is community colleges and their courses to high schools to businesses. So that, so imagine being a junior in high school and you have the opportunity to meet and to maybe take a course at the community college level. In fact, my nephew has done this in New Jersey. Okay.
And they also have this VUTEC schools in New Jersey where you can have,
exactly. And imagine if that employer is also meeting with that student. That's happening here in Huntsville already, where at the high school level, people at the Space Center are linking. So I would just add a couple lines about building a triangular partnership.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's very good insights.
Okay.
That was great.
Well,
I really appreciate that.
Gave me good stuff to talk to about.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go next. And I would, in the investment zone, I don't remember who was proposing that, but if it is Zainab or Ivan or whoever, please go ahead and talk about this. I think we took like a week talking about the creation of investment zone or enterprise zones or whatever they call them in different states, because this is where you are.
This is the SBA stuff I was talking about. So you've already done it.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So who's coming forward to talk about this?
I think this is Carolyn that actually did this part. But from what I'm just reading on the investment zone, at the bottom I see the U.S. Using U.S. Highway 29, 55, and 84 instead of I-65. I was just gonna add that there isn't a major highway, so that's another reason that the population and other people aren't really noticing about Andalusia and can't really get to Andalusia, can't bring their businesses, because even if they could bring their business, there is not likely that people would travel and come to work. And if they did, they would have to take a greater distance to get there. So I believe that that's also something that they should have to look into to try to figure out if there's a way that they can connect a better, well, not a better highway, but better transportation and better access to.
I will use this word, access. If you have accessibility, that's what we're after, whatever the kind of road,
Right.
Ivan, this is, I mean, I know that we have discussed this, all of us, and it's kind of, this is an idea that might not be very expensive for the city of Andalusia because the roads are already there. The issue is it's not kind of advertised, as Antoine was saying, that when he drove through the city, he couldn't actually notice that he can use these connections instead of going back to I-65 to reach the Bay Area.
Right.
So, so that's an issue, and an investment zone is actually something to attract not only businesses but also to attract population, and to we discussed a lot about creating a logistic hub around the city of Andalusia, and our thinking was, what is the thing that the city of Andalusia is kind of providing for the surrounding region? If there is something that it can create or be the center of, and I think Antoine was mentioning something about a distribution center, and maybe, I don't remember whether it was Caroline or Zainab, they were talking about maybe it's like because of all of these industries, it might be a skill building center for industrialization and manufacturing. So actually Andalusia needs to think about what the role is in the region. If you can create for yourself a role in your region, then you can easily attract not only the youth population, because they will be coming for skill building and education, but they will also be coming for maybe a good shot at a business job opportunity. Thank you very much.
May I interject a couple of things here?
Okay, please.
In terms of the transportation issue,
Mm-hmm.
we're attracting so much beach traffic through Andalusia now. I don't know if you've noticed the billboards on I-65 when traveling south. Andalusia is advertised as the shortest route, the fastest route to the beaches. We have so much beach traffic coming through here now that it disrupts the local traffic, and we're
That's why we need to work on it.
As a result of that, we're seeing so many fast food restaurants located in this area along that corridor. We're also seeing service stations just popping up to catch that traffic going in both directions. So we have some construction that's currently out there in Andalusia to meet that demand because of the increased traffic flow coming through here. Also, I will mention that our Walmart recently announced a $6 million renovation that's currently underway, and it just got underway within the past week, and they're going to become similar to Amazon. They're going to be a what type of center am I trying to think of? A distribution center. A distribution center for Walmart. So we're looking forward to that. All of that is currently underway, and we do offer tax credits. I wish that we could come up with ways of expanding that beyond the central business district and the historic district in Andalusia, because right now only those developers that are coming into the central business district are taking advantage of those tax incentives that are available. We have recently, there's a young man that went off and retired someplace. He just came back to Andalusia, and he just bought a restaurant that's very popular. If you're in Andalusia, everybody's going to try to get you to go there for lunch. And we have provided an incentive for him to relocate here by reimbursing him a percentage of his sales tax for a 3-year period. So we do have some things that are underway. It's not as if we're just sitting here and not doing anything. It's just that, and we have implemented some things that hopefully will attract the younger population. We just had an old Coca-Cola plant that was purchased by someone. The city owned the building and just sold it to a developer who has repurposed that building. It is now a pub. The bottom floor is being used as a pub, and there was something greatly needed in Andalusia, and the top floor is being used for apartments. We also have some vacant structures downtown that are being repurposed from dual use, retail on the bottom floor, and apartments or lofts on the top floor. So we do have some things that are underway, and I just wanted to make you aware of that.
No, thank you very much. I'm really happy that we could catch, well, within like 4 weeks, we could catch whatever is the essence, the character of the city of Andalusia. I mean, most of us didn't actually visit yet, except for Antoine, who passed through. But I know that you definitely do a lot. And our purpose here for this report is to show you that when we discuss that these might be some of the ideas, we know for sure that you already are doing some of them, but maybe we are kind of rediscussing to make sure that we are on the same lines as you are. Dr. Presley, what do you would like to say?
Question. The question is about something that Antoine said a moment ago that I can link to what Mr. Nix is saying. If this Walmart is expanding to become a distribution center, that means that there's going to be greater trucking capacity. And is there opportunity for two things? One, an expansion and a reconfiguration of portions of Highway 55. And then is there an opportunity for a truck stop to grow in Andalusia?
Yeah, good idea. I think it will bring a lot to the economy. Thank you very much, Dr. Presley. And we haven't actually explored that yet. I mean, these are kind of, on top of our heads. We had like only 3 weeks to discuss this. And we are very happy that we came up with ideas that Mr. Nix might be able to develop more, and actually maybe he will think this is our, we are, you know, kind of, I don't want to be like outsiders, but actually we are, and we consider ourselves to be like consultants for a short period of time. And when you do that, you kind of look at what is basic, what is the most important. And that's why we only came up, I think, with 7 or 8. Antoine, would you please flip the page?
Yeah, 8 recommendations. Yeah, 8.
Okay, and this actually we had, no, go to 7, please. We had a lot to discuss about this. We know that everybody on the board are actually has a lot of experience, and everybody is kind of, I mean, these people know the city inside out. They know everything about what, but from the discussion with Mr. Nix, that maybe encouraging that more youth to this. We didn't know how to write this, but actually in attracting more youth and more new ideas to this council board or whatever, I think it will maybe give you another perspective of what needs to be done in the city of Andalusia. If we are targeting the youth population, then part of this youth population need to be represented in the council. We just wrote this like 4 or 5 times because we needed to show it like politely that if you can attract these stakeholders that you think you need to attract, you have to have them represented. And,
may I ask one question? In terms of the expansion of Highway 55, I mentioned during one of our earlier discussions that our major employer here, Shaw Industries, formerly Amico Fabrics and Fibers, had proposed a huge expansion that would either be landed at their Andalusia plant or one of the plants in Bainbridge, Georgia. And because of the City of Andalusia and the utility companies here offer some great incentives to Shaw Industries, they invested $500 million in expansion of their facility.
Wow, that's
and
very good, actually. That's great news.
One of the things that encouraged them to do that was the fact that we had a state representative from Andalusia who was the Speaker of the House at that time, Seth Hammond, went to bat for us. And Highway 55 is 4-lane all the way from I-65 into Andalusia, to Highway 84 into Andalusia. That was done specifically to keep Shaw Industries here. So I don't know what else could be done to expand Highway 55, but that's a great drive now.
I would go for what Dr. Presley was saying about providing trucking services and providing, I mean, making this road attractive, really, not just a two lanes each way road. It maybe 4 lanes each way, and then some services each like 10 miles or something. You have something to stop for and do this and do that. I mean, you have now the potential. I believe the city of Andalusia have now a potential for a very good future and expansion. And I would think that providing more services on these highways and maybe linking to some federal programs that would help small towns. I believe there are some programs. I don't know whether Dr. Presley would really know more about this, but I know that there are federal programs to help small towns plug into like better infrastructure, maybe better internet, maybe, I mean, whatever services you can provide in the city of Andalusia that will be considered amenities for the youth population, for this new extension of the manufacturing coming to you, and maybe being a logistic, maybe you'll need to use whatever. I mean, I know that there is an airport around.
Yes.
Having Amazon, having whatever, I mean, these big companies are always on the look of new places to locate. Would you please go to number 8, please? I'm sorry that we took that long time, but we are enjoying this. It's already 6:10, but I mean, we are almost done.
Okay.
now it's this what we were talking about now, about the airport, about being a logistic, about having services, auxiliary land uses, complementary land uses around the airport. And we found that there is a South Alabama regional airport that can become actually a busy hub. And if it is a busy hub for moving stuff around, that might help the city of Andalusia to take a bigger regional role. But this would take a lot of political will and political actually effort. I might put like that. I wouldn't say fight. To make Andalusia the center instead of any other surrounding city. And we didn't actually come to the point of making Andalusia the regional hub for heritage. And you mentioned that before, and you said that you have hundreds of people coming even from Canada to visit your heritage sites and things. And I know that Dr. Presley has a big deal in working with heritage and things. But we believe that creating this auxiliary land use is attracting more amenities, that's working in situating the city of Andalusia within the region would really be very helpful and instrumental in attracting not only the youth, but more job opportunities and maybe bigger companies. I don't know whether Amazon or Microsoft or whatever big company would be interested in bringing people, because when these companies come, they're looking for amenities. They're looking for a place where the families can have good education, where they can have a good stroll on a weekend, where nature is still like still having its beauty. Not really a lot of building construction. And as Lady Kasama was mentioning about the city of Huntsville, not really, I mean, the whole issue about Montesano rezoning is that people don't want to lose the character. And Andalusia still has this kind of character, and the tree-lined boulevards and highways and things. So I believe there is a big opportunity, but we don't know much really. I mean, in 3 weeks, we couldn't get everything about the city of Andalusia, but I would ask Mr. Nix that we are thinking that creating auxiliary land uses and complementary land uses around the airport might help the city of Andalusia to be well located within its region. What else, Antoine, do we have?
That was it, I believe.
Only the conclusion now. Would you like to go with the conclusion? Because I know that
sure. I want to just piggyback on just a couple of things. I want to mention 3 things. I want to go back to Walmart for a moment. Before I get to Walmart, I want to stop at the distribution. When we did the research for distribution centers, there are distribution centers up and down Highway 65. One of the interesting things that we discovered is that they stop at Birmingham and they don't pick up again until Mobile. So there isn't a distribution center between Birmingham and Mobile. It just so happens that Montgomery and Andalusia is literally right there in a sweet spot. That may be something that is of interest. But in addition, if Walmart becomes that hub, there's a program that I'm aware of. I have a cousin who is a manager at a Walmart in Florida. He went to the Air Force, and he was going to be a doctor, and Walmart pulled him out. They were paying a crap load of money, and he took it. But one thing he told me was that the hub that they have in Florida, that Walmart also have a program where they're developing the neighborhoods around it. Because what they're focusing on is these neighborhood Walmarts or these neighborhood stores. And one of the things they're focusing on is the safety of their customers. So, if you notice that there's, a lot of Walmarts in areas where they could benefit from these tax incentives, let me say it that way. And so they are developing the areas around them because if you don't know, Walmart actually gives away 10% of what they earn to the community. It's available if they ask for it. And I'll leave that there. And then the last thing was about the airport really quickly. There's an Air Force base not too far from Andalusia, right over the Florida border. And I was wondering how much business does Andalusia do with that Air Force base, with the helicopters going back and forth and the traffic from that base? And is that a partnership that can be built on?
Well, actually, there is no existing partnership with the Air Force Base located at Eglin in Florida, but there is an existing relationship with Fort Rucker. And you'd be amazed at the number of helicopters that fly into our little heliport daily for refueling. Andalusia is the refueling facility for Fort Rucker.
Right. And that's why
I'm really amazed to hear this, because we wrote here that the airport industrial park provides a possibility, but actually in terms of education, being close to this helicopter airport, you might have very attractive youth education in terms of pilots and co-pilots and engineers and attendants, and whatever you have, whatever kind of business that helicopter airport can provide. But actually this is it doesn't exist in Andalusia or the whole region. It's your opportunity now to actually seek this. I mean, just take this opportunity of creating this kind of education by partnering with maybe the airport, the arsenal, whatever you have. I mean, I think this is a very good opportunity to provide.
Right.
So these are the final our concluding remarks, and I believe our 8. Yes, please go ahead, Dr. Presley.
Well, I wanted to tell you, I've heard some really great ideas. You pulled this together in what, 3 weeks? That's fantastic. Yes. I see a real start to a great planning initiative and whatever. So I wanted to commend the class for what you've done.
Well, the class are actually 5 people of good caliber. I'm very lucky. And we are faced with a challenging issue with Andalusia, and I think we loved it, the way we discussed it.
Great.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your commendation. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And so, I'd like to commend the class as well. And this is very timely, because we do have Concordia in New Orleans working on our master plan update. And I don't know, Dr. Off, if you think that it might be a good idea for me to share this report with them or not. What do you think?
Well, we wrote this report for you. We are not competing with anybody. We are kind of cooperating now. I mean, universities are kind of, they don't have this money mentality, which is completely wrong, but that's what we have. But I would really like to cooperate with anybody with this class and with our colleagues, with Dr. Presley. We have the capability, and I believe we have like a research center within the department that we can help with. If you think that we might continue working with the City of Andalusia under any capacity, we would like to do that. We always have students every term who are having good minds, and when challenged with a good issue, they actually excel. And I'm surprised that this is done in 3 weeks. I'm really surprised, but it took a lot of work. Everybody was here, everybody attended. I mean, it's kind of a rare situation. Dr. Presley knows that I have like 100% of the students attending every time. Not something that never happens. But that was happening for me, and I'm very lucky. But yeah, whatever, we wrote this report for you, Mr. Nix. We shared that with our chair and with our colleagues. If you would like us to continue with under any capacity, please just feel free to send an email to Dr. Rokmana, or even to our dean. If you like this report, we would like you to actually say a couple of words about it. We have the students, some of them graduating, but actually some of them might still be around for the next term if you would like us to do something, or even during the summer.
Okay.
So,
you know, I'm very appreciative of the opportunity that you have afforded me here, and I'm not new to collaborating with Alabama A&M. Is nothing new for me, because as when I served as the transit manager for the state of Alabama at ALDOT, I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Earl Gooding, Dr. Jacob Alawoya, and
he's still around. Dr. Alawoya is still around.
Wilson, and Professor Joseph Lee on many projects, and we were able to compensate Alabama A&M for some of that research. So
let's look forward for that. And now we have the core of this team: Dr. Presley, Antoine, Zainab, Ivan, Evan, Caroline. All of us are actually your core team now. If you would like to continue with this, we are be very happy to do that. And just go ahead. And I'm really happy that we could pull this together in like 3 weeks. I was not completely sure that we would be able to, but I was amazed by the attendance and the ideas that our students created. I'm really very happy that they could do that for us.
Okay, and I just want to comment on the young man who made the observation that there's a lack of inclusion in Andalusia. That's a very, very good observation, because I've been on the city council now for about 18 months, approaching 18 months. And that is one of the things that I'm really, really striving for: more inclusion, getting minorities involved. And nobody has really pushed for that. So it's in its infancy phase right now, but that is one of the things that I'm working for, and I believe it's going to take community involvement though to make it happen, to really bring attention.
Thank you very much. And this is sometimes this is why universities, when they get involved, we can say things that local people cannot say. We look from a different perspective. So yeah, I'm also very happy that it was mentioned about the inclusion and about the youth inclusion also. And yeah, it should happen. Should happen. All right. If you have any more remarks, comments, questions for us, we are really happy to have that. But other than that, we are done with our prelim report. This is usually done like what we call, this is only our reconnaissance. When we do like consulting jobs, this is the thing that we do at the beginning, just to make the client like what we do and like the team. And then we start working after that, because each of these ideas can actually be more elaborated, detailed, and we can help with that. So
great.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. Thank you very much for coming to present to our students your case first. And then now I'm really appreciative of you coming now and you saying these nice words for our students about the whole thing. Thank you very much.
I'll just make one final comment. The city council, about 2 weeks ago, authorized an investment firm to proceed with an $11 million bond issue. And so we're getting ready to develop a very nice park. It's going to have water, green spaces, amphitheater, and all that. These are things that we're trying to do now to attract young people to Andalusia. So we do have those things on the way. And
I think we can also help with that if you'd like, because we have, we have like good people in landscape at the department and good, I mean, I wouldn't say students, but actually people in graduate programs are actually like professionals. So we can also help with that if you decide that we can be part of this. But thank you very much for telling us about that.
And I'll be happy to keep you abreast of our progress. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And whenever you're done with the report, I will appreciate if you can send us a copy of your updated report. And I will definitely circulate it to our team who participated in this. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Have a great rest of the day. If there's any, have a good dinner and enjoy your time. Thank you very much. See you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Applaud to all of you, Zainab, Ivan, Antoine, Caroline. I'm really proud. I'm very happy. I think we did it. was a good report. Thank you, Antoine, for the editing. And I think I mentioned that in my email. I would follow up that with Dr. Rukmana, but for all of you, I would definitely give you all A's, straight A's. You are good, even those of you who had some issues about attending, but actually you all worked hard for this report, and I really appreciate your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you very much, Evan. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Zainab. And it was a successful course. Please do the evaluation about the course. And I'm glad that Dr. Priestley actually is impressed, and she sent me very nice words about the course. And I don't believe this is the normal departmental course result. We did a little bit more, and you actually excelled. So I really appreciate your effort. Thank you very much. And this will be our last meeting for the term.